Hey, it's Azrielle Lawless. And once again, you've dropped straight into HellaVella and found yourself another Lawless interview. And I'm here today with Vella author TJ Loveless. Hi, TJ.
Hi.
And thank you so much for being on the show and rescheduling with me on the fly like that. I really appreciate that.
Not a problem. I've been looking forward to this for some time. So I'm like, yes, we'll do whatever we got to do.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it as well. I have got you down for three villas, and we will talk all about it after I ask you my very famous first question. And that is, when did you first get started writing? And I mean writing like prose, like writing
Oh,
stories.
besides making up stories as a kid, when I was in fourth grade, I went to Landmark Elementary, and our principal had decided that we were going to start having an elementary school newspaper,
Oh, whoa.
and which was a great idea because all of them were the kids doing it, to see who wanted to write, who wanted to do this, who wanted to do that. And I had to come up with a story every single week for it. So every week it went out, I would have to come up with a new story that was probably 500 words. So, yeah. So fourth grade, and I had to come up with a 500-word story.
Oh
But
my
that's when the bug,
God.
I got eaten alive by that bug. I was like, that is so cool. So, yeah.
Was it all year?
Yes, I did it for all of fourth grade, and it was the storyteller could only be somewhere between first and fourth grade, to give the younger ones a chance to explore. And I loved that principle. But yeah, and when I went into fifth grade, I had to do some journalism stuff. At that point, I had to tell
Journalism
stories
stuff.
that way. Yeah,
Whoa.
so it was
Well,
a lot of fun. It was great.
that's wow. That is legit the youngest I have heard of any Vella author being published.
Oh, hey, cool. I got a record somewhere, right?
That is completely awesome. Do you remember any of the stories?
The only story I remember, okay, it was, hold on, it was about a giraffe at a zoo who was an outcast and ended up, he was being bullied by the hippos. And it was not a lion, it was a lioness and a hyena who got between the hippo and the giraffe to help stop the bullying. This is what I remember of it. And I remember that my fourth grade teacher then made me write a different story, but that's the story I remember the most. And that my principal was like, I still have the blue ribbon somewhere that she gave me for best story because it was an anti-bully story when I was 9 years old.
Oh, that is very
That's
good.
the only one I can really remember off the top of my head.
Wow.
I don't know.
That is wonderful. I love it.
I'm like, where did that come from? I have no clue, but we just cool.
That's like the coolest. That's the coolest starting out story I think I've heard yet. So, okay. So then the next thing I want to know, let's go all the way from fourth grade till Vella time. And when did you hear about Vella?
Okay, I had to go look this up. Okay, so we started hearing rumors of Bella in October of last year, rumors of it. And my best friend and writing buddy, you guys would see her as RM Alexander. Anyway, Rolex called and she's like, check this out. Well, we had both also seen this other company that was going to do chapter books, and they would pay you a certain amount to do it, and they kept all the royalties basically. But and we looked at it, it was like, but then we kept hearing about this. So we started looking at stories we could add on in February. And then the first published one I'm showing was July. That's when I started with the Maidens, was July. So like I said, I had to go look all this up going, I don't remember.
Okay.
But we heard about it in October and started preparing for it in February. Now she's actually done really well. She's got a lot of them. I have three with the fourth one starting, and work life. But
So
that's when that started.
REM, please remind me. This isn't her show, but I want to hear the names of RM's Uh,
RM Alexander, she's got some great ones. Restless, Immortal Guardians. She has Black
Immortal
Seas.
Guardians. That's the one I know.
That's the one you probably heard of. Yes, I love that one because she and I brainstormed that one. I was like, you have to do this one. You have to do this one because
That one. Okay.
twist is beautiful. Her twist on it is gorgeous. But she also has Exposed and The Remembering. So those as well. But yeah.
Okay. But like I said, this is your
I know,
show.
but I brag about her all the time because I love her stories.
I know. You know, I've had her on.
No, I didn't know. Now I gotta go look it up because she didn't tell me that. But
I think so. Don't you? I think I have.
You probably have because she asked me about it. But anyway.
Okay. So anyway, now I've forgotten what I was going to say when we talked about.
We were talking about how I got on Vella.
Exactly. Yes, we were talking about that. Which you've got the Maidens, you've got Godkiller, you've got Imposter. Now, which one of those did you put up first?
The Maidens. The Maidens was first.
Okay. And now, is it complete?
The Maidens, no, it is not by far. It's going to take several seasons to finish the Maidens. The Maidens is actually a series of books that I wrote starting in 2005, 2004, 2005. And these particular books, it's actually a series of books that I tried to see if maybe they could be published, but they didn't do well. But I have found that they do very well as chapter books. You know, some stories are meant to tell at once and some are meant to tell as, you know, just an episode at a time.
Now you haven't published them before, have you?
This one, a version of them, like a very old version that doesn't even hit well anymore. That is not even the story any longer. This story is completely and utterly changed.
Oh,
it's
so
not even
you
what
did
it was
change
originally.
it up. You didn't.
I changed it up in a major way.
Okay.
Like complete changeover.
Okay.
From when I had tried. Yeah, you can't do that on Vella. So we knew that when I went in that I couldn't do the original story. So I completely redid it with the same plot, but a completely different storyline.
Yeah, you wouldn't have wanted to anyway. 2005 isn't relevant anymore. You gotta push on, you know, and update. So okay, very cool. So the Maidens, and tell me about that.
The Maidens is stories about women coming into power, basically, and then having to deal with things that we as women deal with. And the first one is Dakota. And Dakota was kept in the dark by her parents. Everybody kept her in the dark. Even her best friend knew, but told her nothing. And she's got to deal with that. She's got to deal with the fact that here's all these things, because it's kind of like being a sheltered child and then getting thrown to the world with no clue. Okay. And she goes through that, and you know, then it leads on to the next woman and the next woman and the next woman, because there's like actually it would have been 9
about
books.
What?
Her power.
What power?
Because these are all elementals. They're all elemental powers. In hers, she actually has power over the earth.
Okay.
So she can create volcanoes, she can do earthquakes, she can do anything having to do with the earth, whether it's water or whatever. So, which is why she's the general of this army starting, because there's the gods are going to attack. And I'm talking like old gods, Tiamat, Zeus, the rest of them. And the whole idea is it's women that are going to save us, but they all have to figure out how they're going to do it. Yeah. And in her case, it was, I can do what? you know, and she's in her mid-20s. She's going for her PhD in college and never had a clue any of this existed. Never.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
So it's her trying to deal with that, and then me throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at her to see how she reacts to it. Oh, and it's not always a good reaction. It's not always the right reaction either. She's messed up quite a few times. So
I have down here that you've got 7 episodes of that up.
7 episodes so far, yes.
Okay. And then what was the next thing that got uploaded?
Imposter did. And I think I have 5 or 6 episodes on that one.
And what is that about?
Imposter is about a woman who she was in an abusive relationship and she gets out of it. And she moves out like I did to the middle of nowhere in the Arizona desert. And that's when she finds she has to learn the difference between who is really the monster and who isn't. And so for her, it's this whole journey because she doesn't have any powers. She's just a human woman. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
But she's having to go up against the supernatural. And she's also having to figure out who's the real monster here. Is it that shapeshifter? Or is it that man? Or is it neither of them? You know, so it's a horror story combined with a woman trying to figure out and learn to trust herself again after being in an abusive relationship. It's very hard for women to trust themselves. They've lost all confidence in their decisions. And this is about her regaining all that and trying to figure out the world again on that one.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's awesome. And I've got down that you've got 5 episodes of that.
There's 5 episodes. Okay, yeah, that one still got. I actually have 4 episodes that I need to go in, edit, and get those scheduled to load. So
Awesome.
more is coming. More is coming on that one.
And then so the last one is the only one that is complete, right? Which is Godkiller.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 31 episodes.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about Godkiller.
Godkiller it's called, God stands for Guardians on Duty. And it goes, now she already knows everything about herself pretty much. She just doesn't know how far it extends. This is a world where the gods made themselves known and people were kind of naive in the beginning. And now you've got gods that are going around killing humans, doing whatever they want to try and get power again. Her job is to, even though she got her power from a god, she is the jury, she's the judge, and she's the executioner. So she has to go in and investigate and decide whether or not what to do about a god gone rogue that is causing damage, that is causing and harming when they're not supposed to. And then having to deal with all the red tape with that and the emotional backlash from it. Because let's face it, when you go into these situations, and I never saw this in books, and it's in all of my books, by the way, is that, yeah, we can run in and be the hero, but what happens after? There's a lot of emotional, mental, and physical trauma to deal with, and she's having to deal with that. So, and you'll see that in every one of my stories, is it's not just going in and being the hero, it's what happens after. There's an aftermath every single time.
Right.
And she's dealing with that in this and trying to figure out how to deal with it.
Yes.
So it's really, this one, it did get tough in a few places because there was some points where she just didn't do well.
People don't really stop and think about it.
And she made a mistake and had to deal with the fallout from it. So Godkiller is about the judge, jury, and executioner, but what happens after as well.
Right. And that's awesome. That's an awesome aspect. I hadn't thought about it. You don't see it treated.
For some reason, I can barely hear you. What happened?
Okay.
Oh, never mind.
I might be too far away from the.
Well, that and user error.
Oh.
I was playing with it and whoop! I was like, wait, where'd they go? Yes.
Okay. No.
Cool.
No,
Anyway.
God bless it. I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, what did you do to me here? Okay. So,
I don't know.
Oh, I'll have to think of it in a minute. What were we just talking? Oh, I was just saying that is great. I hadn't heard that brought up as an aspect of the hero game is, the aftermath. And I was just thinking myself, if you stop and think about it, if it's a human, God Almighty, the brain chemical cocktail alone that you would have to have in order to do the whole, let's go and get it done. Right. And then you come down off of that. God, what would that be like?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure you'd cry. I'm sure you'd, be all like snot and
Yes. You've gotta,
you
you
know.
have to face this stuff. And I've just, superhero movies and all these, they never show you the aftermath. Now they kind of did in Iron Man 3. You do see that in Iron Man 3. There's actually an aftermath of what happens when you play the hero.
Right.
And but these were all written before that.
So, okay. Now you indicated that you have got other stories, other books out there um that are not just these Vellas that we're talking about. And I happen to know that one of them is Fractured Steel. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So Fractured Steel. Now I want you to tell me the story so that I don't overblow it. All right. Because I have a tendency to do that. And to me, this sounded like a very big deal. So you did
Okay.
really well with Fractured Steel. You hit a lot of bestseller lists and were just like a nickel's worth off of hitting the New York Times bestseller
Yes.
list with an indie novel,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. This is one I published myself. This was a self-published novel. Everything was done through the indie community. And when I had a marketing plan, now you market different back then because this was actually in 2013.
Okay.
The marketing is far different than it is now.
Right.
But I had set up this huge amount of marketing to when it released. And when it did release, it was extremely, it was going very quickly. I was gobsmacked at it. But people were getting the theme of it and going, oh my God, because it was kind of new within the theme of it. And
What was the theme of it?
this is literally about PTSD. Seriously, beginning to end. From beginning to end. It's all PTSD. And there is one point in there that people are like, oh my God, I just thought all I had was doomsday in my brain and I was completely anxious. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, you had five seconds of what it's like for those of us with PTSD 24/7.
Right.
You had 5 seconds of it. And I had to build it to that. But at some point on there, I was raising up in the Amazon and Barnes and Noble bestseller list. I mean, it was going. I missed New York Times by this much. But I have an email congratulating me from James Patterson. And that email is because for 2 hours, he and I released a book on the same day. Okay. And this is James Patterson. There's no way I'm going to beat him long run.
No.
But for 2 hours, I beat him on the lists for 2 whole hours.
I don't care, man.
So
that's a
he apparently keeps an eye on when the new ones come out. Well, he was getting beaten by other books, but they were books by traditional publishers. He recognized me as an indie author, beating him for those 2 hours. And I have an email with a congratulations from him. And it was
That's
from
really
his personal email. And I was like,
oh my God. Oh.
What? And even to this day, I still look at it and go, what? So, because Fractured Steel is a thriller. It's just a contemporary thriller. There's no urban fantasy. And here you have one of the most prolific and most on the bestseller list. I'm talking Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and USA Today bestseller list. And he was like, you screenshot that you did this, right? And I was like, yes, I actually have that screenshot of me beating him for 2 hours. So it was very, very thrilling. It was like, oh my God, and for 2 hours I was just refreshed. And then he finally, of course he beat me, but I was like, it was actually like 2 hours and 2 minutes and 32 seconds, but that's
but we won't go into those details.
No, I didn't refresh that much. No. So,
I don't think there's a soul that's listening to this or that will ever hear it that wouldn't have done the same
exactly
thing.
So it was premium. That was probably one of the most thrilling of my publishing that, you know, that happened. So
Oh,
I can
that's
say that.
wonderful.
It was
So,
fabulous.
you know, that is really that's quite the feather in your cap, I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. Well, so you've done some writing out on Vella. You've done a lot of writing before that even. And so I have to believe that as an experienced writer, you probably would have read a Vella or two.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Quite a few.
Oh, indeed, I see. All right.
Okay, so I told you now I do read Robin's. Not only do I read R.M. Alexander's before they go, she's like, hey, I need you to look at this. I think I did this wrong. I read them on Vella because seeing that when she's done with it and she uploads it, I'm like, you know, I got to go read it. But I do have a couple of others that.
No, wait. You don't get to just say R.M. Alexander. She has a bunch of stories. You get to pick one.
Oh, that's rude.
I know, dude. I'm telling you, like pre-chewed food, but what can I do?
We were going to be friends too.
That's
we were so close. We were so close. Really... son of a biscuit. Okay. I'm like, now I'm on the spot. Okay. If you're going to start out, you have to start out with Immortal Guardians. Okay. You really do need to go on there and start with that one. Start there.
You'd say that. I thought you'd say that's her big one.
That is, and there's good reason for it. And I absolutely love it with the twist she put in there. But that's the first one you need to start out at, because if you go through Immortal Guardians, I trust me, you're going to love the rest of them too.
Okay.
So
that's Robin's.
Yeah.
I got it.
Can't believe you did that to me and just put me on the spot for that. Okay. Okay. So the next one, hold on, where'd you go? I got to go back to her because I do watch this one, and it's Spidersight by Tirzah. Love that one. That one was just like, do you hate me or what? Because that one was great when it ended.
I got to tell you, that was my one. That's what got me hooked on Tirzah. Literally, I think I got the closing episodes before anybody did, because I was just like hammering her over DMs,
yes.
You know? And
yes, it's fabulous. Spidersight was good. Okay. The third one is Unmarked by R. Mentor. It's called Unmarked by R. Mentor. It is an urban fantasy. Very good. I loved it. It pulled me right in. It's action and adventure, and it just off I went.
You didn't stutter or anything, but who is it? Our mentor?
R. Mentor, M-I-N-T-E-R, and it's Unmarked. And then, okay. Barry Gregory, and it's called Biff Stone Monster Hunter for Hire. And he cracks me up in that one so many times. Is that the one you were talking about? Because I love that one. That one was funny.
That is awesome. I have not read that one. Great. Now, did you know Barry?
You need to read that one.
Barry also wrote A Thing Immortal.
No, I haven't read that one. I've only read this one.
Biff Stone, Monster Hunter for God's sake.
For Hire. Yes, Biff Stone, Monster Hunter for Hire. And you're just sitting there going, oh my God.
You know,
it's like this entire mashup of different genres, and it's just hilarious. It cracks me up.
Oh my God, I just had a brain fart. Okay, who writes this?
Barry Gregory.
Barry Gregory.
God,
what a brain fart.
Yeah. Anyway. My cat's like, I need attention. I got a dog telling me he needs attention. It's like, no.
Have you seen his ads for Biff Stone? It looks like the Marlboro Man. All right.
Yes. Okay, every time I read it, I'm thinking Roger Rabbit. It just makes me think of Magnum PI mashed up with Roger Rabbit.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it.
So I do. I love that. I do read it. I think it's great, and I'm on with that one. Okay, and I think I have one more left.
One more.
Hold on. Let me see, because there was another one that I went, what? Hold on, where is it? Of course I'm not going to find it when I really just need it. Okay. Where'd it go? There she was. There she was. It is Daughters of Fire by
Ooh.
Charlotte Wilson, and she's got 8 episodes on that one. That's another really good one too. I loved hers.
Woo.
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 Yeah.
What did you say, Lynette Wilson?
No, Charlotte Wilson. And Daughter of Fire, she's half human, and they don't expect anything out of her, and she's like, you know what, you don't, fine, I'm gonna do it anyway, kind of thing. And I'm like, that is so Gen X. That is, and even though she may not be Gen X, but that's just my generation right there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yep, got it. So I have to recommend that one too.
Well, okay, so I've got that one down. That sounds like a bunch of great recommendations. And so the next thing is that you have been appointed CEO of HellaVella.
I'm sorry ahead of time. I'm gonna say I'm sorry and I apologize before anything starts.
What, if anything, would you do to improve the platform for readers and writers?
It's got to be more accessible, just straight up more accessible, because not everybody has time to read or reads on their phone. Okay, like sometimes I'm on my tablet, and if I get on my tablet and I'm going to read, I have to click to get to it, and it's frustrating. Yes. Because I'm like, I want to catch up on the story. It's easy on the app on your phone. The phone will go right to it and it'll show it to you. Right. But if it's like the app on my Samsung tablet, or if I'm trying to find it, it took me 20 minutes to find it on my computer. And it's frustrating. And then it's not even accessible because like I have my newsletter I sent out, hey, don't forget, you can check it out for free, because I'm trying to get my readers to go not just from my books, but to my Vella. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you how many emails I received from my international readers going, I can't see it. Excuse me? What do you mean you can't? Because they have not taken it out of the US yet. And yet here I have an entire audience that wants to see my new writing and can't. Right. So there's a lot of frustration because that's an entire audience that's missing out that may actually like chapter books, because as we know, Stephen King, Charles Dickens, Jane Eyre actually was another one too. Yes. Chapter books. Yes. It's only been, I think it was the 60s that they started getting rid of the chapter books and started going to just one book for money reasons. But I love chapter books. I always did. Green Mile, The Dark Tower. Sorry, Stephen King fan here. Yeah. And right. Then there are a lot of those. I read, yeah, exactly. And then like Charles Dickens, my teachers made me read that as a chapter, every chapter. Right. And then, okay, you know where the red fern grows, right? Oh, right. 5th grade, Miss Jeanette. I got to give her a shout out to Miss Jeanette in 5th grade at Landmark Elementary. She read us a chapter from it every week. So in my head, chapter books are the bomb. You're right. And, that's just how I grew up with it. So why aren't we spreading this more? So that would be one of the first things I would do, is make it more accessible and easy to find and easy to understand on how it works. Okay. First thing straight out of the gate. All right. Because it would help authors too.
That's it?
Another one is marketing. Dear God, please do more marketing.
I think that's gotta be.
That's like a universal
part of accessibility, part of
just come on, people, because it's just not reaching enough of an audience to say, you might actually like this. Because here's the other thing that Robin and I had talked about quite a bit, was with inflation and everything else, people are broke and you can't buy a whole book, but you can spend 15 cents to go to the next chapter. Market. There's for people that can't buy the whole book, but maybe they can pay for a chapter here and there. Yeah. You've got that too. So why aren't you marketing that? Why aren't you out there? Hey, you've got books, you've got stories out here waiting for you to come in and get as you can.
It's almost like a book on layaway.
Yes, exactly. And
you get to take pieces of it home with you.
Right. When you can afford it, because, sometimes a quarter is all you've got and you would like some entertainment. There you go,
True.
um, and they're not marketing to them, which would be a lot easier if they would, because, hey, let's make sure everybody knows they have access to it. Plus, Amazon was giving out 300, I think it was in the beginning. I'm not sure if they're still
200
doing
in
that.
the beginning.
Yeah. And then
And it went
after you
to
go through that 300,
500 for the Kindle Unlimited members.
oh, okay. See, learned
Okay.
something new today.
Yeah.
But why aren't they marketing that? Why aren't they telling them that? Why isn't this out there more widely available? And why? Well, because they're not spending the money on it. They're making us do it. So I'm working on it.
Preaching
I
to
may
the
not
choir.
actually be the
Preaching to the
CEO, but
choir.
I am working on it. I know, right? So yeah,
Well,
that's what
that's
I would
pretty
do.
good.
Those are the two big.
Those are two very big ones, very good ones. And I look forward to the day when we do have some advertising,
Yeah.
more advertising on Amazon's part.
Yeah, because like I went in there and Amazon's like, hey, do your ads. You can't do the Vellas.
No.
Excuse me, what? Why? Why can't I do my Vellas? Excuse me?
What?
You want me to spend money, but you're not letting me spend the money on what I need to spend the money on.
Right.
Anyway, okay.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get off this soapbox because that'll take another hour. That's another hour right
Well,
there.
believe it or not, we've come to the just about the end. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I know it's fast. It goes quickly.
Yes.
And this has gone very quickly. So the last thing that I ask everyone, and it's going to be especially significant for you because you've got your past success with your books, and now you've got this new thing, and your latest writing is on Vella.
Mm-hmm.
And so the last question is, since I'm going to be in the description of this video linking your Vellas first and then your author page, which will show anything else you've got out there,
Mm-hmm.
what would you like to say to the people who are going to be listening to this video and then getting their first look at you through your Kindle Villas? What would you like to say to them?
Take a chance. It's hard. Look, right now, let's face it, the past 2-3 years almost has been, excuse my English, an absolute shit show for everybody.
Yes.
And it's gotten us to the point that we're like scared to try something new because it's just gone to crap in one way or another, however it's happened. And so we're terrified of starting new things, trying new things, because what are they going to do? They're either going to shut it down, tell us we can't do anymore. It's, whatever. Try something new. Now, most of mine are always women centered as the heroes. Mine are always finding strength within yourself. Mine are always, hey, we're going to fail, take a break, and then get up and try again. Take your break, cry on the floor, do it. But come out and see how I have them do it, because you're not alone in that. When you fail, you're going to cry. Trust me, I cry almost every day right now. So, I just come home, I look at my dog and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Because, I was late feeding him. But take a chance. Try this new one, especially Vella's. You may find that it's as overloaded as all of us are, and we're all so just being bombarded
We're
constantly.
overstimulated and
Yes.
numb.
Yes. This might actually be your answer to finding that book, because I have found that sometimes I just can't open up a new book,
No,
but I can open a
too
chapter.
much.
I can open up a chapter. And then, at the end of that chapter, usually because we have author notes, and that tells me it's the end of the chapter. And I'm like, oh, hey, so maybe that's the answer, is we need smaller doses of stuff. And Vella definitely gives us that. It gives us that small dose we need to kind of back off, let our brains have a break from everything that's gone on the last 3 years. So we can get into a different world. We can see a different point of view. We can relax for just one chapter.
Yes.
And I think that's how we need to be telling them to come and see this. We're so overstimulated with everything. Take it a chapter at a time.
Excellent. I think that should be a t-shirt for Vella. Vella,
I think we
take
should.
life one episode at a fucking time.
Yes. And now I'm like sitting here going, we need to talk about that as t-shirts. Ma'am, we got to do that t-shirt because I need it.
Exactly. I think
That's
we all
exactly
do.
it. Yes. That should be the Vella, the whole thing right there.
Exactly.
You know,
Think
one
it
t-shirt
should.
at a, you know, or one chapter at a time, one episode.
Vella,
Live life
take
one
life
episode at a
one
time.
episode at a
Episode
time.
at a time. Yes, we need that. There we go.
And
My
on
dog's
that
over here trying to
note,
lead me away.
on that note, we're going to say bye. And
Oh.
thank you again for joining me. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for asking me to be on here. This has been fabulous. I've enjoyed every moment of it.
Take care.
You too.
Bye, all you HellaVellans. We'll see you next time.